Welcome back to the Flight of Faith. I was so moved by last week's show, in particular the seniors who opened the show just sharing about their experience. It was very moving to me, and I know to many of the teachers. There was a whole email string that we had going of just responding to that beautiful video, and that has stuck with me throughout the week as I've thought about what you've experienced and what you're going through. There's a tradition, an experience that we have as human beings. When something bad is happening in the world, we respond. We know that firsthand here in New York City after September 11th, the way people generously responded with their lives, first responders going down to ground zero. It's no different now, the way people are responding in the midst of this pandemic. I remember as a kid, a group of pop musicians came together, Michael Jackson among them, and they sang the song "We Are the World." And they were raising money for Africa, relief for Africa. And we listened to that song for years. It was so great seeing the video, all these pop musicians there together singing and having fun. And it was a great way to raise money for those in need in Africa. Well, during the pandemic now, the same is happening. A group of pop musicians came together on BBC Radio and recorded one of the Foo Fighters songs, Times Like These, which has great lyrics. It's in times like these trying, difficult times, that we learn to love again. That we look at our fellow human beings, our brothers and sisters, and we say, you're worthy of being loved. It's challenging, it's hard, but you're worthy of being loved. It's a great video, you should check it out. All these different pop musicians singing that song, the instrumentation, the vocals are great. I really enjoyed it a lot. Now, it'll come as no surprise to any of you that I'd like to focus on one particular fundraising effort that happened, and that's the Jersey for Jersey fundraiser. Being a guy from the Jersey Shore, this instantly appealed to me. And it had some of my favorite musicians and celebrities, John Bon Jovi, Bruce Springsteen. I used to see these guys around town when I was a kid growing up and look at them mesmerized. People from TV, Stephen Colbert, Danny DeVito. These guys all got together. They recorded videos from home and put it together into a fundraising concert, and it premiered on the internet. And people responded. My mom and my brother gave money to the relief effort, and this went out to medical workers, bus drivers that were driving seniors around, people working at the grocery store, people that needed extra help during these days. These celebrities got together to fundraise for them. I thought it was awesome. And I really enjoyed a lot of the songs. Bon Jovi used crowdsourced lyrics in his song, very much the kind of things that you guys shared last week on last week's show, not being able to graduate with your friends, not going to prom. He shared these things in the lyrics. It's worth checking out that song. I'd like to focus on one particular performance that was part of that Jersey for Jersey fundraiser, and it was the performance by Charlie Puth. I knew Charlie Puth from his music, the song from Fast and Furious, We Don't Talk Anymore. I like those songs. I've heard them on the radio, but that's the extent to which I knew him. I found out when I saw him on this Jersey for Jersey fundraiser that he grew up in the town down the street from me. I grew up in Red Bank. He grew up in Rumson. In fact, I graduated from Red Bank Regional High School. He graduated 10 years after me from the rival high school, Rumson Fairhaven High School. It's on the same street. Those guys during senior week would come over and try to paint the pirate cannons that are outside of our high school. They would try to paint them their colors. So there's lots of great connections. In fact, you might know my mom's Catholic and my dad's Jewish. Well, Charlie's mom is Jewish and his dad's Catholic. So kind of neat, many connections. He grew up as a kid playing music at Count Basie Theater. I went as a kid and as a young adult, and even now, to concerts at Count Basie Theater. So lots of great connections. And I was really excited that he chose not to record one of his own songs, but to record a Bruce Springsteen song. He chose a wonderful song, Growing Up. But I have to say, I didn't like his performance of it, and this is why. It was too smooth. It was too perfect. There's something about Bruce's voice that's so unfiltered, so un-auto-tuned, so just raw, and even some people would maybe criticize his vocals. But I love it. I love it. And what I love about it is the way that it gets into our hearts and expresses kind of the rawness, the unfilteredness of what comes out of our hearts when we're being real, when we're being authentic, when we're being vulnerable, and we're allowing ourselves to just say, this is what I'm going through. This is what I'm going through. Again, Charlie did a great job. It just drew up for me the reality that when I hear Bruce saying it taps into something inside of me, and I'm saying, yeah, that's who I am. That's who I really am. I'm going to be honest about it. It's raw. It's unfiltered. Sometimes it's ugly when I cry out of my heart. But as a priest, I would say it's in those moments when we're real, when we're unfiltered, when we're raw, and our hearts cry out, it's there that God can enter in. That's how my conversion came about. Not growing up going to church, not knowing God growing up. It was when I had that cry in my heart, why are we here? Where's my life going? What am I supposed to do for the next 60 years of my life? That cry in my heart cracked open my heart and allowed God to come in and transform my life. And gave me this ability, like David Grohl and those other pop musicians sang in times like these, to learn to love again. That's how I learned that. I'll close with this beautiful quote from Léon Bloy. He said, "Man has places in his heart which do not yet exist, and into them enters suffering in order that they may have existence." What's he saying? That our hearts, when we experience suffering, new places in our hearts are made. They come into existence. And that expands our hearts. Again, it teaches us to love again, and maybe in a new way that we've not been capable of before. Brothers and sisters, this is a time to be unfiltered, to share what's going on in our hearts with God, and allow His love and His care and His presence to enter into these new places of our hearts created by suffering, and make us more and more into the men and women we were created to be. Keep up the good work, persevere to the end, cry out, let love transform your life, and God bless you.